Greetings, citizens of Nindie Nation, and thanks for tuning in to the Nindie Nation podcast, your weekly dose of everything independently developed for the Nintendo Switch. I'm Jeff, and today on episode 46, we'll be your guide through every new indie title releasing on the Switch from November 15th through the 21st. After that, we'll click on the eShop's Great Deals tab, sort through the hundreds of discounted games, and find the handful that we think are worth your hard-earned digital dollar. If you want to see these games in action, well, you're in luck, because over on the Nindie Nation YouTube channel, you can find a video version of this and every week's episode, complete with trailers and footage of each game discussed. Except in the cases where the developers couldn't be bothered to show the internet their new game. And that happens. Anyway, the YouTube channel is also where you can find the brand new Let's Play Nindies of Monkey Barrels and all sorts of great audio-visual Nindie content. Nindie Nation is brought to you by the Nintendo Village, your home for everything Nintendo-related, featuring articles, reviews, podcasts, and more. But we'll talk about that later, because for now, it's time to get into the games. Here are the 5 Nindies that released since last week's episode. Fractured Mind is the winner of last year's BAFTA Award for Young Game Designers and is a short yet interesting take on the walking simulator by designer 17-year-old Emily Mitchell that explores mental illnesses in support of the gaming industry charity Safe in Our World. For only $2, you can explore 6 chapters designed to raise awareness around anxiety, isolation, and other mental illnesses. Cube Creator X is the latest entry in a poor man's Minecraft series developed by Big John Games for $19.99, which I think actually might cost more than Minecraft, and it doesn't appear to offer anything unique or original other than overall lesser quality, so probably just stick with Minecraft. It was an indie game originally, after all. Overlanders is a really cool-looking, fast-paced racing game in the vein of the classic Star Wars Pod Racer series, and it's developed by Rundown Games. Complete with hover bikes and other crafts loaded with weapons, you'll fly across the track in campaign, multiplayer, or the new Monster Hunter mode. Overlanders will set you back $25, but if you can't get enough pod racing and wish the series would make a return, this looks like it'll be right up your alley. League of the Shield is, well, it's something else, and it has quite the trailer. I'll give them that. Developer Noobology released this $7 arcade game that pits 4 players on a tabletop in something that resembles air hockey, but with 4 corner goals instead of 1 at each of the 2 ends. It looks really bad, you guys, but I do think you'll get a kick out of their trailer, which I can only hope is purposefully and ironically terrible. And finally, I'm going to take you on a bit of a walk here. Have you ever been to an arcade and seen this game? It's clearly for kids that's at just about every Dave & Buster's type place, where there's 2 arcade racing seats side by side and a very simple steering wheel that pits both kids in a head-to-head race that's mostly this top-down behind-the-car viewpoint. You're basically just steering left and right between, I think, 3 lanes and trying to collect coins or boosts while avoiding traffic or other obstacles. My 6-year-old daughter loves this game, and that's basically what Rally Road is. The game is $5, and I've definitely spent way more than that on this very similar game in the arcade, but I can't say it's anything to necessarily write home about. The developer has one of the most original names I've seen yet, though. Are you ready for it? Rally Road is developed by Digital Game Group. And all I can say about this title is that it's the kind of game you get frustrated with because while you have dozens of incredible AAA games you could be playing with your kids, they end up spending all their time playing these kind of games almost exclusively. If you've seen this game in the arcades or your kids already love it, it might actually be worth the investment, but otherwise I'll say steer clear. See what I did there? So Fractured Mind could be worth checking out, and if you love the crazy high-speed racers or pod racers specifically, Overlanders looks pretty great. But otherwise, I can't say I'm surprised that these games did not come accompanied with a massive pre-release marketing plan. And I'm not sure which games will be on that list next week, of course, we never do, but I do know that you've got at least 20 Nindies landing on the eShop from November 15th through the 21st, and there's at least 4 of these games that I am really excited about. So let's get right into this episode's list of next week's Nindie new releases. Kicking things off with a bang, Cool Small Games is back, and I really hope they give me a reason to stop saying, this game is anything but. However, for $1.79, Go Fish Go is just another excuse for me to say, well, they got 2 of the 3 things in their name right. And Go Fish Go is an on-rails racer where you're controlling a fish escaping an aquarium, basically just by moving left or right in the lane and jumping to collect coins or power-ups. And so, yet again, Cool Small Games has delivered something that's small and a game, but I can't really say it's cool. But if you're in the mood for a relaxing puzzle title, Color Motif Deluxe doesn't look too bad for Tree Fitty. Kobador Yazalim has created a game that has you recreating over 500 pictures based on given geometric shapes, and as a father of 2 young children, it looks like the kind of thing we've done at the kitchen table a million times. And for what it is, it looks pretty decent. And Dragius Games is back for their 3rd week in a row with Tactical Mind 2 for $2.49. In one of the first sequels I've seen from Dragius, you'll get improved visuals and new boards in this interesting sci-fi take on chess in a one-on-one board game that lets you compete against AI or online against other players. And speaking of Nindie devs who make regular appearances on our podcast, for as much shade as I throw over at Forever Entertainment, occasionally they release a genuinely good title. And I think that might be the case with the upcoming Biolab Wars. Rocking a 50% introductory discount, you can get your hands on Biolab Wars for only 99 cents, and I like what I'm seeing from this tongue-in-cheek classic 2D action game. With a no-frills NES aesthetic, you'll run and gun your way through 27 stages right out of the Book of Contra, gunning down waves of henchmen and the occasional over-the-top alien monster boss as you play the bodybuilding former television star known only as Finn. Biolab Wars looks like a good, clean, retro-inspired romp, and especially for $1, I'm totally here for it, and I've already downloaded it, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel over the next week so we can take the first run through Biolab Wars together and see what it's all about. Bringing their first game to the eShop, developer Alter Ego delivers a 3D exploration and puzzle adventure game called Woven, about a stuffed elephant and mechanical firefly who are 2 unlikely friends in a world where their kind don't typically get along. Woven has gorgeous art style reminiscent of the Yoshi and Kirby games developed by Goodfeel, and it looks like a relaxing yet interesting 3D adventure that you can embark on for $19.99. Mars Power Industries is a self-proclaimed feel-good resource management game about human colonization of Mars by 7A Games, and is set up as a grid-based strategy with a puzzle focus and no fail state for only $3.99. The wonderfully named Digital Game Group is back at it already and has another release for us this week. They're starting to build the story here about what kind of developer they are, though. Lots of Slots is an $8 slot machine game, and really, I don't know what more I can tell you about it. Raining Blobs is a falling block puzzle game similar to Puyo Puyo that includes a dash of anime schoolgirls for $10. Forgive me for the inevitable mispronunciation, as this game is brought to us by Nindie Milojakowski and includes multiple modes with local multiplayer for up to 8 people on a single Switch. Probably want to stick to docked mode, though, for that one if you're going to have 8 players on one screen. Can you imagine that? It's gotta be in a Nintendo promo video somewhere. Now, Storm in a Teacup is not the name of this week's next new release, as that is actually the developer who is responsible for Close to the Sun. But I feel like both of those names could possibly be interchangeable. Set in 1897, Close to the Sun is a visual novel with puzzle elements about a reporter named Rose who investigates an abandoned scientific haven born of Nikola Tesla's mind, and you can join Rose as she seeks to uncover what happened at Helios for $29.99. Why are these adventure games always the most expensive? Blue Kid 2 includes slight modernized flair accompanied by a very catchy chiptune soundtrack, and it launches from Winterworks for $3.99. Skipping ahead to November 19th, Munchkin Quacked Quest makes its way to the eShop thanks to Asmodee Digital for $21.24, and it is an isometric, top-down dungeon crawler for up to 4 players. You're speaking my language, Munchkin. Using more than 20 weapons and multiple character classes, you'll dive deep into dungeons in a game that is co-op up until the time it's time to catch the final prize, which I think seems to be a duck. At that point, the team will then turn on each other to see who can make it out of the dungeon with the most loot. And while I've noticed this type of game becoming a trend recently, I do like their fantasy cartoon witches and magic theme that they've got going on, and I do intend to keep my eye on Munchkin Quacked Quest into the future. Bouncy Bob 2 is the sequel to the awful, low-quality party game which initially started the trend of developers charging 1 penny for their game just to shoot up to the top of the eShop charts and trick everyone into wasting their time and pennies on their junk game. Ultimate Games and Mad Gamesmith are responsible for this, and if I'm being honest, I have no idea if the sequel is anything like the first Bouncy Bob, but I'm guessing it is, and they'll probably pull the same stunt here. It's launching for $5, and I'm sure will be on sale for a penny very soon, but at any price, I would recommend staying away from Bouncy Bob or Bouncy Bob 2. As you may know, citizens of Nindie Nation, it is rare that I find much interest in a story-driven adventure game, but Still There by Iceberg Interactive has a premise right up my alley. Taking place on a spaceship, navigating through space with a sarcastic and potentially evil AI, you'll explore psychological themes and understand what it feels like to be out in space alone, solving puzzles to keep yourself alive. And you can go on this adventure in space to get back home for $13.49. Our next new release is one I'm very excited for and easily my most hyped game for this week. Children of Morta is developed by Deadmage and published by 11-Bit, who also recently published Moonlighter, and they share a very similar art style and isometric perspective. Children of Morta's story follows 6 playable members of a family all banding together to stop the spread of an evil within the mountain of Morta, which they call home. Being a Nindie Nation trifecta, this game is executed with procedurally generated levels across 6 biomes, with roguelike mechanics and RPG elements. Children of Morta has the potential to top many indie fans' favorite games of the year list this year and has been receiving critical acclaim since its release in September on PC. If you enjoyed Swords of Ditto, Moonlighter, or any of the other games in this genre, then $21.99 should be money very well spent to add Children of Morta to your library. So, our next game is weird. It's the 3rd episode in a series I've never heard of, first of all, and it's really hard to tell what kind of game it is. Plus, I feel like the title and description are only half translated from Spanish, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I'm guessing, however, Zero Uno has built an adventure game with their title called Baobab's Mausoleum Episode 3 Un Pato en Muertoburgo, which roughly translates to a duck in Dead City. But hey, if you're considering dropping $6 on this game, don't take my word for it. Here's theirs. After the macabre and horrific events suffered in the second chapter of Baobab's mausoleum, here comes the final episode, full of sordid stays in limbo, golf courses watched over by enchilada-shaped clouds, trips to the internet of the Marianas, and a final outcome with a high risk of causing you very negative effects in both the eyesight and in the brain. The final episode of Baobab's mausoleum is here ready to make you completely crazy. Welcome to Flamingo's Creek. Yep. And our next game for November 21st comes from Super Scary Snakes, and the description that they wrote for Black Future 88 sounds so totally rad that I'll just read their take verbatim because I hadn't heard of this game, and now that I have, I am all about it. Black Future 88 is a synth-punk roguelike 2D action shooter. Vertically climb an always evolving procedural tower to reach the top and kill its insane owner before your heart explodes. Shoot, slash, dash, and upgrade yourself to survive the endless waves of deadly traps, homicidal AI, and colossal wardens standing in your way in a stylish alternative version of 1988. Sounds pretty cool, right? Kind of like a vertical Dead Cells, I think. With Black Future 88 ringing the register for $19.99, this is turning into quite the expensive week for Nindies. Pipeworks Studio brings a wildly unique idea to the eShop for $5.24, also on November 21st, and it's called Soccer Die Cosmic Cup. Yes, it is soccer, but here's the kicker. No pun intended there. In this 8-bit soccer game, there's an evil alien threatening to take over Earth unless you can beat him at the Cosmic Cup, which consists of soccer with fields that have turrets, landmines, dinosaurs, and all kinds of obstacles that basically turn it into a vertically scrolling runner game as you dodge the traps and work your way to getting the ball into the net. I can't say I've seen or heard of anything quite like it, and the humor looks to be top-notch bonkers. Green, the Life Algorithm, is a 2D action adventure somewhere between Limbo and the old Flashback and Out of This World games. It looks very dark, atmospheric, and cinematic, and is chock full of single-screen puzzle rooms with the premise of navigating your way off an alien planet that is teeming with genetically altered vegetation. You can pick up this moody and stylish action adventure by Estacio P.E. Diseño for $14.99. And I apologize for that mispronunciation as well. And finally, but our second to last game, finally, a game that I don't feel is at least worth consideration, because I'm trying to save money for you guys. If you are just foaming at the mouth as you watch all of your friends play the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you may be tempted to check out Strike Force War on Terror when it drops on November 21st for $13.99, but I warn you against this lazy and low-quality ripoff delivered by Polygon Art, as they have been known to deliver games that hopefully sell on name and screenshots alone. This title acts like a modern Call of Duty game, but looks like a cheap ripoff made over a decade ago. And it brings me great pleasure in a week filled to the brim with fantastic games to say that for this one, you can save your money, which is all the more reason to dive into the last game launching this week, The Touryst with a Y by Shinen Multimedia. You may remember The Touryst from the Nindie Direct just a couple of months back because of its hyper-realistic yet blocky high-res Minecraft-like art style. You'll play as a dude on a vacation just chilling out on the beach in his Hawaiian shirt, sipping on a Mai Tai until he learns about the dark secrets of the Monument Islands. You'll spend your time split between fun activities like swimming, shopping, dancing at the beach party, or spelunking into the depths of the island, battling your way to whatever treasures lie within. There's a lot of buzz about The Touryst, and frankly, I'm not totally sold on it yet, but this is another $20 Nindie to keep your eye on, and there's probably something for everyone. And of course, if I get any time with The Touryst, I'll give you my thoughts next week. What a week, right? So many great roguelike games with Children of Morta and Black Future 88, adventure and story-based games like Green, The Life Algorithm, and Still There, all the way to the wildly unique titles that make Nindies such a gift to us all with The Touryst, Soccer Die, and Mars Power Industries. There's so much this week. What are you picking up? Let me know and follow me, please, over on Twitter at Nindie Nation, and I'll keep you posted on what I'm picking up. Also, look for a new Let's Play Nindies this week for Biolab Wars. As I mentioned, I already purchased it, and will be recording my first run at the throwback action game by Forever Entertainment. But we're not done yet, friends. We've still got to get to the deals, and if you're looking to grab a great Nindie or two to tide you over until the Black Friday deals hit, well, we've got a hand-picked selection of the best Nindie deals across the eShop, with 252 games currently on sale and 117 of them brand new this week. Here are the best deals you'll find on indie games for the Switch this week. Yooka-Laylee, the throwback 3D action-adventure collectathon by Playtonic, is 66% off for $13.59, and I think that's the lowest price I've ever seen it. Overcooked is 66% off as well for $6.79, as is Overcooked 2 being 40% off for $15. Both of those are great games to pick up now if you plan to have some friends and family over who might play a game with you for Thanksgiving. If you're looking, however, for a very traditional JRPG, check out Earthlock. It's only $5.98, which is 80% off, and I put about 30 or 40 hours into this game a couple of years ago. I never finished it. I think I hit some kind of leveling or grinding wall, but I did find it to do a lot of the great things well that make JRPGs such a draw for us. If you're not into JRPGs or any RPGs, though, I don't think this one's going to do anything to change your mind. Guacamelee 2 is half off for $9.99, and the Guacamelee 2 Complete Edition, which includes 2 pieces of DLC, is also 50% off for only $11.24. And I think if you're willing to spend the $10, just go ahead and spend the $1.25 more and get the Complete Edition, because I have played the DLCs and both of them add a bunch of stuff, like a whole new challenge area and a really cool arena Coliseum-like experience that I had a ton of fun with. The Messenger is 40% off, which is only $12. However, it's only on sale until November 19th. So if you're looking to get this incredible 8 and 16-bit Metroidvania Ninja Gaiden game in your life, and you should, because it's amazing, make sure you act on it quick. Iconoclasts is 40% off for $12 and is a colorful, bright, and cheery, yet really well-made Metroid-like game that focuses a little less on the RPG and a little bit more on the story, similar to Owlboy, and it's only $11.99. Raging Justice, which is a 3 or 4, I forget, it's at least 3-player action arcade brawler, similar to Streets of Rage or Golden Axe, those kind of games, is 70% off for only $4.49 right now. Now, I will say River City Girls and 99 Vidas are both better games, but if you've played those and you're looking for another one, check out Raging Justice. It's a great deal right now. Anthill, the brand new RTS game about ants developed by Image and Form Games, who make the SteamWorld series, is already 50% off for $5, and that game just launched a couple of weeks ago. Philmith wrote a review over on the Nintendo Village for Anthill and really enjoyed his time with it. And finally, Yaku's Island Express, the bizarre yet oddly charming Metroidvania/pinball game, is 66% off for $6.75. And if you recall a long time ago, Josh and I both played it, we loved it, and then we both kind of burnt out on it in the second or third week we were playing it. But for less than $7, I think it's worth the time I got out of it. So take a look at a couple of screenshots. If you really like pinball games and you're looking for something different and a little bit more relaxing, Yaku's Island Express is just the ticket for $6.75. Man, so much to play. So little time, right? As a quick note, I'm curious how many Nindie Nation listeners have an Xbox out there, specifically because I've recently been dabbling in a few awesome Nindies that are included with the Game Pass, and I've been blown away with the quantity and quality of titles in that subscription. Blazing Chrome, Creature in the Well, Time Spinner, Moonlighter, and many, many more are already out there, and Xbox is currently offering 3 months of Game Pass for only $1, so you can get a lot of indies in. There's a huge selection with Game Pass for Xbox and an even bigger one for the PC version of this service, and honestly, that's how I'm playing most of them. Let me know on Twitter at Nindie Nation if you're digging into some Nindies through Game Pass and what you've found to be worth the time. I'd love to hear your recommendations. And of course, while you can also find us on our Facebook group, we have the most content over on the Nindie Nation YouTube channel, where just this week we launched a Let's Play Nindies review for Monkey Barrels, and I am in love with that game. The video's a different format. It's much shorter, so please let me know if you like that style or if you prefer the longer, more real-time videos, which is what I'll be doing for Biolab Wars this coming week. And for all things Nintendo, don't forget our friends over at the Nintendo Village. Their daily articles include cool thought pieces and features, previews of upcoming titles, and a growing list of reviews across the Nintendo spectrum. They also have weekly shows such as their own Nintendo Village podcast and Nintendo Nostalgia. So go check them out at thenintendovillage.com and let them know Nindie Nation sent you. Thanks for hanging out and dishing about Nindies with me this week, citizens of the Nindie Nation. I always look forward to our time together each and every week and cannot be more excited to see what the eShop has in store for Nindies as we work through the holiday season. I might even do a special one-off episode talking through all of the deals on Black Friday, but that's a couple of weeks away, and we still have another exciting episode of Nindie Nation next week, so make sure you come back soon. Until then, I'm Jeff. This has been Nindie Nation episode 46, and this week especially, I'm sure you have found a great Nindie to keep your Joy-Cons synced.